Like this show and want to make your own? Let me tell you about Anchor. It's free, and they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And now you can even add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless for what you can create, whether it's music analysis, your own radio show, or something the world's never heard before. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hi, and welcome to the Vocal Fries Podcast, the podcast about linguistic discrimination.
I'm Megan Figueroa.
And I'm Carrie Gillen. And today is our spooky Halloween episode.
Which is really also like a brain break for us and for everyone.
Well, kind of, because we are going to talk about real science. And
That's true.
Science that is outside of our area of our expertise. So,
although science feels like a brain break from like the world.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. This science, at least.
Yes. But it's not intellectually a break, really.
Right. No.
And I can't really judge it because I don't have the
credentials.
The skill set. Yeah.
That's okay. We'll just talk about things like we know what we're talking about.
Well, we're just gonna present it, and then people can say, you know what, actually, they did that wrong. Here's why. And we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So feel free to tell us that the study that we're talking about is wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect us.
Yeah, no.
Let's get off our back.
Right. It'll just be like, oh, wow, this is the first time we've ever been wrong. Thanks. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. Very first time ever in our lives.
Yes. Never been wrong before.
But before we get to that, I would like to thank our 3 newest patrons. So we have Joseph Gilbert, Brett C. Nelson, and Catherine S. Flowers. So thank you to you 3.
Thank you so much.
Supporting us. And they're at the $5 level, so that means that they get access to our bonus episodes.
Which are lots of fun because we have no rules. We just talk.
Yeah, they're more loosey-goosey. Yeah.
As if we have any rules
shorter.
in the other one. I mean, there's structure.
We have more of a structure, usually.
Yeah.
This one, I guess, is kind of more like the bonus in that we're not going to have as much of a structure because we don't have a guest. It's just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
It'll be longer.
And we do have a couple of upcoming episodes where it's just going to be you and me. So it's interesting. But
that's true.
They will be related to linguistic discrimination and not just Halloween. So.
Yes. Oh, yeah, and I don't think I actually thanked Bex Raymond. She started at the $1 level and then went up to $6, which is really sweet.
Yeah,
thank you. Very nice of you. So we should thank you because,
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
That's exciting. And you also, if you're at the 3 or 5, you get a sticker. So if you want a sticker...
Yeah, yes.
You can join us at patreon.com/vocalfriespod. And if you ever want to email us, we're also vocalfriespod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So
if you ever want to tweet at us, dogs eating French fries, that's also great.
Or humans eating French fries, or bats.
Bats eating French fries.
I don't know if that's really healthy for them.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not healthy for dogs, but it's a quick little treat. But anyway.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about today is bats, because Halloween. But specifically bat communication. But before we get to that, when I was Googling for bat communication, I found something through, I hate to say it, but one of the Russian propaganda outlets. I know. But it turns out to be, like, true. So there's this Sacramento County news release from late last month about rabies-positive bats.
Oh, no.
So, public health search continues for others who possibly handled bat, and I don't know why that makes me laugh because it's also very scary. And if it was me, I'd be mad that people were laughing at me. But possibly handled bat.
Oh, well, because the rabies, the shot sequence isn't great.
Oh no, it really it's horrible.
Pretty terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you do get bitten by anything, any animal with rabies,
by bat,
by bat, dog,
yep.
anything, raccoon. I mean, there are like lots of ways that you could get bitten. I'm sorry, that must be really, really horrible.
Yeah.
So get better.
Wait, Russian propaganda machines are spreading.
They're not always talking about things that are in their best interest. Like this is irrelevant, right? But it's a way of making them seem more legitimate.
That makes sense.
So not everything that RT does or Sputnik does is, propaganda. But they're building up their cred.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, why did I click on this link?
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, they have the actual press release. I'll just go to that.
Yeah.
That'll feel less dirty.
Was it through Facebook?
No, Google.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay. I was just like, God, Facebook, get your shit together.
Speaking of Facebook, I don't think this has ever happened to me before, but yesterday I posted something from someone else. I think it was the Maricopa County election recorder.
Yeah.
I think. Anyway, it was somebody legitimate. Posted about, hey, tomorrow is the last day that you can register to vote in Arizona. So I reposted it, and my mother asked, why can't you just register today, on the day of the election, which you can in Canada?
Voter repression. Wait, sorry, exactly voter suppression. What?
Suppression.
Yes. Repression, all of it.
Yeah, it's both. But so that's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because I said that, but it got deleted. Facebook deleted it. Yeah. Never happened to me, as far as I know, before. And it wasn't something like spammy.
Yeah.
It was just, hey, Americans, well, actually Arizonans, if you can, register.
It deleted the whole post, not just you saying voter suppression?
No, the whole thing. It'd be even weirder if it deleted my comment, I think.
But it probably deleted the whole thing because of your comment.
Well, I mean, I don't actually know that. I don't know what happened. But that's the only thing I can think of. I guess the other thing could be that the person who originally posted it might have deleted it.
Oh,
so then mine would delete too, maybe. I don't think that they would do that.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm right and it was the elections guy.
Yeah.
Adrian Fontes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm a little bit mad about that.
Oh, yeah.
And weirded out.
Yeah. I'm still surprised I've never been, silenced yet on any of the platforms. I say some shit.
Well, you might not know.
That's true.
Because, the only reason why I knew was because my mother had liked one of my comments, I think.
Oh, and you went back to it? Mm-hmm.
And I tried to go back to it, and I think she may have also commented again. Mm-hmm. And so I was getting the notifications for that, but the post had disappeared.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they had done it and before my mom had a chance to do that, I may never have known.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. We're recording today on the last day to register in Arizona, so we can't say anything about that. But we're ramping up to vote here in America. So everyone needs to vote that can vote.
Yes, and that's true in all countries. I just want to point out. Every country, if you can vote, please
Oh, yeah,
vote.
definitely. And now I'm all upset about voter disenfranchisement. Okay, anyway, no, bats. Let's talk about bats.
I'm also upset about that, among other things. But yes, okay, bats. Okay, so this study was published back in the end of 2016, but for some reason last month, some outlets were talking about it. So I don't know why it took over a year and a half to get into the news.
It's because it's really hard to read science articles. Maybe we should be better at outreach.
Well, we definitely should be, and that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
But and any bat scientists, I bet there's a better word for
that.
Oh,
no, I was going to ask you, what is a bat scientist called? Hold on, I'll look.
I don't know.
You keep talking and I'm going to look it up.
Good.
Bat scientist.
Well, I kind of like bat scientist. If I were a bat scientist, I would just call myself a bat scientist, even if there's a better, more Latin term. Anyway, so we're talking about an old study. Well, oldish study. It's called Everyday Bat Vocalizations Contain Information About Emitter, Addressee, Context, and Behavior.
We have those in...
I mean, it sounds like a linguistics paper.
I know.
And I hope I pronounced the names correctly, and I apologize if I mess them up. Josef Pratt, Moore Taub, and Yossi Yovel are the authors.
Does it say, like, what kind of department they're in?
Not in the Nature article.
Oh, okay. I'm just, like, wondering what kind of departments bat scientists are in.
Some kind of biology, I think.
Yeah.
Or yeah, biology, right? Oh, dear.
Wow. Really, what we're just showing everyone is that, sometimes you're good at one thing. You don't know about others.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There doesn't seem to be a word for bat scientist, by the way.
That's good, because bat scientist is pretty hot.
It is. Maybe I should go get another PhD.
Don't do that.
No, I'm scared.
But I do understand the impetus. Every once in a while I'm like, ooh, I should do this. And I'm like, no more education. You're done.
I know. I'm like, why don't I study how dogs communicate? Because then dogs come into the lab. But anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Anyway.
Okay. So I'm just going to read their abstract because I think, well, we'll see. At least part of it I think is interesting. So animal vocal communication is often diverse and structured. Mm-hmm. That's true. It's less diverse and less structured than human communication.
Right.
Or especially the language part of our communication. But yes,
right.
It is.
Yeah.
Yet the information concealed in animal vocalizations remains elusive.
Oof.
That is true.
It's because
that is very true.
It's really hard to get bats to talk to you.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
They chatter a lot. Oh, this kind of reminds me that I meant to look this up too, but prairie dogs. There's also some research on prairie dogs, and they do a lot of chattering.
They do. Well, like I know, but
no, they do.
From what I can glean from my
and actually that study, we'll post it, was interesting because they claimed that they had different calls for like wolves versus German Shepherd, which looks a lot like a wolf.
Yeah.
Which I kind of believe that that's possible. I couldn't really evaluate the study properly, but anyway. All right. Several studies have shown that animal calls convey information about their emitter and the context. Yes, right? I mean, obviously, the animals are going to make noises or create signals, like ants create chemical signals, because they want to say something. They have some message to give. So yes, right. Of course, it's going to be at the emitter and also about the context. Mm-hmm. Often these studies focus on specific types of calls, as it's rarely possible to probe an entire vocal repertoire at once. That's absolutely true. Mm-hmm. Same with the prairie dogs. There are at least 2 different kinds of noises that they make, and one of them they just ignored because it was too complicated or something. In this study, we continuously monitored Egyptian fruit bats for months, recording audio and video around the clock. That is so much data, you guys. God. Well done.
Yeah.
We analyzed almost 15,000 vocalizations which accompanied the everyday interactions of the bats and were all directed towards specific individuals rather than broadcast. So they're actually like, they have addressees, as they say in the title, like they're calling at individuals. We found that bat vocalizations carry ample information about the identity of the emitter, the context of the call, the behavioral response to the call, and even the call's addressee. Our results underline the importance of studying the mundane, pairwise directed vocal interactions of animals. Like, really cool.
Oh my god, I totally believe everything, because I just looked up a picture of them and one of them is giving me this side eye, so I can tell that this one has a lot to say. And knows who they want to say it to. Oh my god, look at them with their little wings.
Yes. They're very, I mean, I think bats are so cute. Like, I get why people are afraid of them, but I also kind of don't get it.
Yeah. Well, they look
unless they're like trying to get in your hair.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Yeah, that's true. They do look kind of pterodactylish,
yeah,
with cuter faces.
Yeah, and they, eat fruit. Come on.
Well, some of them do.
Well, I'm guessing the Egyptian fruit bat does. I don't know.
I guess so. They're not always accurately named, but I think that's true in this case. Bats are also really important pollinators.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So certain cactuses, I think, are mostly pollinated by bats.
Ow! What?
Yeah, I think. I could be wrong about that. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's true.
Diet. Fruit bats they do eat fruit, just to say.
Well, like the vampire bats, or not vampires,
Yes, that is.
That's why I'm always a little suspicious of the names. I'm like, it could be.
Yeah.
That they're descriptive, but they're not always descriptive. But it's good to know that these ones are. Anyway, so they have different kinds of calls. They have mating calls, which males produce. Isolation calls, when the babies are left alone.
Oh, I thought it was like leave me alone.
No.
Oh, okay.
The opposite. They're like, oh, I'm alone.
Oh, because
to me, Mama.
I would be like, leave me the fuck alone. Here's my isolation call.
You're also an adult.
It's true.
These are babies. Babies usually want to be with their mother. There are seclusion distress calls.
Oh.
So when they're adults who are distressed and there's no one else around them, they'll say, hey, help me.
Yeah.
Come help me. They have the echolocation clicks, which is how they find their prey. So if they're looking for flies or insects, they use echolocation. So I think fruit bats also eat insects. There are aggression calls, and apparently this is the most common thing. So everyday squabbles between pairs of bats, these are the aggression calls. So they are very angry animals.
Oh, what?
Isn't that the most adorable thing? I'm sorry, bats. I should be taking you more seriously.
Listen, you don't owe them anything.
Well, I know. But I felt a little condescending as I was saying it, so.
Yeah, it's true.
I know they don't give a shit, but...
I mean, who knows what our laughter sounds like to them? It could be an aggression call.
Maybe. Yeah, so those are the different types.
Huh.
So apparently there's a lot of complaining. That's how at least the news was talking about it. The media was talking about it. Like, they're just complaining at each other. I think that's the aggression calls. They were interpreting them as complaints.
Yeah.
Which I think is definitely anthropomorphizing, but... Maybe it's not wrong, I'm not sure. So the paper uses the word quarreling or quarrels, so
okay,
it's not that far away from quarrel to complaining, I guess. Yeah, so apparently they fight a lot.
Oh my gosh, I wonder, so this is Nature reporting on it. I wonder if the original article has supplementary materials and it has the audio. We'll look for it, and maybe we can include it. It might.
Okay, there is. Supplementary information accompanies this paper at www.nature.com/SREP.
SREP. Oh.
SREP. So, yeah, we'll post the paper and also the supplementary information in case people want to, check it out. And I think this is so fun, and I think we need more. They're right, we need more articles on different kinds of animal communication because we really don't know that much.
So it gives you a big greater appreciation for the animals and also for human language.
Yes. Yeah.
Both are pretty remarkable, and it helps you understand how remarkable each one is when you understand more about both. So
yes, and I think it helps us understand just how complex all communication can be, but that human communication is just a different level, qualitatively and quantitatively.
Yeah, it's a lot to do with our physiology, right?
I mean, yes, that's part of it. Our mouth can create all kinds of sounds that, our closest cousins, the chimpanzees and bonobos, can't. Or bonobos. I never know how to pronounce that word.
I think it's bonobos, or at least...
I've heard both.
They had a bunch of research assistants looking at all of that video.
Yeah, so they had to like make sure that they knew which bat was actually making the signal, like actually, yelling.
Yeah.
And so this is how they say it: an emitter bat was recognized by its mouth movements.
Oh.
And they had to use 2 or 3 cameras to make sure that that really was the bat that was screaming.
Oh. I mean, did the bats all consent to all these cameras?
No.
Those poor little guys.
I mean, would you rather be watched or eaten?
Oh, good point. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And also, I'm pretty sure, oh no, they were in cages.
Nah.
Yeah, I guess it would be really hard to do a bat study in an actual cave.
Oh, yeah. How would you?
But that would make me feel more comfortable.
Yeah. There's no way to, tracking them would be impossible. I guess not. They go back there, but I don't know.
Yeah, you put a tracker on them. Like, that's what they do for, like, birds and stuff. They track them.
That's true.
GPS.
That's true.
Yeah.
Good point. But cage is so much easier.
Yeah.
Sadly. Anyway.
Sadly. I hope they were allowed to fly out of the cage sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to think about that part.
Yeah, no, we're just talking about bad vocalizations.
Yeah, so they were all marked with a collar with a reflective disc so they could actually tell which one was which.
Oh.
This must have been really hard.
Yeah.
Like I always think that what we do, like, where linguistic research is hard, but, in some ways it's a lot easier.
Now listen to me right now. I work with babies.
Babies are harder. They're definitely harder than working with adults.
They are hard, although I get it. I think bats might be a little bit more difficult than babies.
Yeah, because at least there's, like, one baby at a time.
That's true.
You don't have to, like, have all these cameras to make sure you know which baby is the one crying. Or...
That's true. Oh my gosh, that sounds like a nightmare. That's basically like preschool or pre-K, daycare. Shout out to all the educators out there doing the work.
My God, especially with the really young ones. Like, they're adorable at that age, but also, wow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And also, en masse. 1 or 2 children.
I know.
Fine. The more there are, the more I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you do this?
Think of all the vocalizations. AKA crying.
Yeah. Mostly crying. Some squealing.
Yep. Oh.
So apparently, one of the things that's the most surprising about this paper is that they're actually, communicating at individuals. Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, so baby cries are always directed towards their mother, or often directed towards their mother. So that part maybe is less surprising, right? Like, you would expect a baby animal to cry for their mother, but the other stuff is apparently mostly directed at individuals, or maybe always directed at individuals, and that's surprising.
Yeah,
because we think of animals in many instances, or at least the scientific community often thinks of animal communication as being more group oriented, like, hey, there's a snake over there,
right,
let's run, rather than, hey, you, I want to fight you. Right. Although there are some other cases. Obviously, dolphins have apparently have addressee specific calls, as they say. So, calling to a
dolphins are geniuses.
They're very smart, definitely very smart, and yeah, I don't think we definitely don't know everything about their communication system.
No.
I mean, we don't even know everything about human communication systems.
I know, that's why I have babies with sticky fingers coming into the lab every week. Right. Still trying to figure it out.
And apparently also primates, when primates make their calls, at least sometimes, it depends on who their audience is. Which makes sense. Of course, there are, we're primates. We expect them to have somewhat more similar communication systems than other animals, perhaps. So, but it's still, apparently this is we didn't know this about bats or many other animals.
Yeah, I'm still guessing that, like, wolves, dogs, they must be very pack oriented, like their calls.
So apparently wolves are less pack oriented than we think. It's more like a family unit.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so, like, you know, all this alpha male bullshit.
Yeah, like the lone wolf thing. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, not the lone wolf, but like that there's like the alpha leader of the pack, and then all these beta wolves. That all comes from lab experiments with wolves, but in the wild, it's not how it works at all.
Okay.
So it's all because we put them in this really artificial environment. And that's when this weird behavior started arising. But so this whole notion of alpha males is bullshit. Even if it were true of wolves, it would be bullshit because we are not wolves. But it's extra bullshit
because it's not true. Yeah,
the experiment was based on like them being in a lab, which is not at all how they live.
No, that's a really big point about science too. Is like how artificial is the setting that we've created.
Right. So I mean, so one of the arguments you might be able to make about this bat study is like, well, maybe it's different. In like nature, but they don't seem to be saying anything totally insane.
Right.
So my suspicion is maybe there's more calls if you like look at them in nature, but they're not going to be these results are not going to be wrong outright.
Although they may not be so aggressive if they weren't in a cage. Maybe that's why they're fighting all the time.
That is possibly true, yeah. But have you ever been in a cave with bats?
No.
They do yell at each other a lot. Okay, I didn't know they were yelling at each other, but now I understand that's what they're doing. Like there's a lot of noise.
Oh. Okay. And a lot of pooping.
Yeah, a lot of guano. I don't think I've ever been shat on by a bat.
You know, just put it right there on the bucket list. Bats are awesome. Why? So we just like associate bats with like Halloween and spooky things because like Dracula?
Hey, tonight I'm going to suck your blood.
That's a good question. I don't actually know.
It has to be Dracula.
So let me speculate.
Yeah, speculate, please. Speculate wildly, and widely.
So why is Dracula associated with bats in the first place? I think because a lot of people think bats are creepy.
And so they think they're bloodsuckers, right? Like they're like...
Yes. Right. The vampire bat thing, like that's because they think they suck blood.
Because they're creepy. Because they're creepy. They look like something from another world.
These weird wings.
With little
they're not
fingers.
Pretty like birds. Yeah. I mean, they're rodents with wings. I mean, that is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think probably, yes, Halloween is probably... The fact that it's associated with Halloween is probably associated with the fact that they're associated with Dracula, but I think that the creepiness goes further back than that. But, you know, again, let us know if I'm wrong.
But also, like, they probably spread a lot of disease, right? So, like, people were like, fuck these things. Gosh.
I wonder if that's true. I know rats do, so why not bats?
I guess I just assumed because I was like, flying rodent, wow, they're going to spread lots of disease, and then a fly doing it.
I don't know if it's true. So rats definitely do, but I think it's because they would get into the grain supplies, and so they would infect the grain. I don't know. It's a good possibility.
Yeah. Well, I hope that a bat scientist listens to our show.
And they're like, no.
Here are all the things that are wrong with what you said.
And for once, I won't mind being contradicted because I'm like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Whereas when someone is like, actually, vocal fry is horrible.
I know. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm like, why are you contradicting me on this out of all the things?
Yeah. We talk about a lot of science on this show, and that's never contradicted. It's always it's people wanting to go back to vocal fry or, yeah.
Which, again, science, we did talk about the science of that, like how it's created, but also like how it's just a thing we can do, everyone can do, and it's a social thing, not a, like, how can you just say vocal fry is just bad? Like,
I know.
It's because they're told over and over and over again that it's an acceptable thing to say.
Well, It's true. And the same thing goes for being like a quote unquote grammarian. That's a thing that's going to be hard to get rid of too.
Yeah.
That's another thing that people want, that seem to be like not wanting to let go of or be a little bit angry about, is like being told that like fixing your and your is not like totally cool.
A, making a typo says nothing about your intelligence.
Right.
So stop.
Mm-hmm.
But B, pointing it out doesn't actually make you look all that great.
Yeah.
It just makes you look like an asshole.
It does. Oh, I was listening to a feminist podcast that I'm going to subtweet in words right now, that someone was like...
Subpod.
I like it. Wow. Okay, so I'm subpotting. But yeah, this person was like really angry about the passive voice and said
Oh my god.
And said to stop using it. And then they said, not only is it ungrammatical.
What?
But I also mark my students off, or I also give my students Fs when they use it.
Fs? Okay.
This person said Fs. I don't know if they really mean it, but marking off is bad enough. But if really they're like marked down to an F immediately for passive voice, which is not ungrammatical.
A, it's not ungrammatical. B, sometimes it is actually the better way to talk about it.
Yes.
Like, if I want to say I was hit by a car as opposed to the car hit me, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, there's no I mean, actually, I think I was hit by a car is actually better.
Yeah, like,
than the car hit me.
Yeah.
Because I'm putting myself first because it is affecting me more.
Exactly.
Than the car.
This is kind of like with our discussion with Santiago about, like, communicative intent kind of thing. Like, both ways are like, fine way to say it because, you know, we understand what you're saying either way, but we're trying to make a point sometimes when we use the passive voice over the active voice or whatever.
Right. So I do want to say that sometimes the passive voice is bad because it's sneaky, right?
Yeah.
So, like, mistakes were made.
Yeah.
By who?
Yeah. No, it
right?
can be sneaky
like,
and assholey for sure.
Like, you're just trying to sweep things under the carpet. So there are times when it is 100% bad, and sometimes also when you use the passive, it's just like, it's a little bit more convoluted. But not always.
But it's never ungrammatical.
It's never ungrammatical.
Yeah.
That is like we need to say something to this person. I don't think we should just subpod.
Really?
I think we have to. We're linguists. It's our expertise.
Okay. I was wondering about it last night. I was like working out, like for the first time. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to this because this is going to get me revved up. And I was like, God damn it. Then I had to like stop it. And I was like, what am I going like bananas over this? This is so ridiculous. But I was so mad.
I think we should write something.
Okay.
Is there anything else we want to talk about bats or are the other Halloween-y things?
Well, I love Halloween, but also so don't be an asshole. This is important. Don't fucking like watch your costumes, but also I was thinking like watch your accents, your mock accents too, like
Yeah. The accent thing is kind of tough because it's not always mocking and it's not always bad.
Right.
It can be very easily.
Yeah, like
especially if you're a white person.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where you need to stop and think. What am I doing here?
But yeah, I definitely I'm like, can we stop with the Pocahontas outfits?
Yeah.
It's really both racist and sexist at the same time. So
yeah.
If all you care about is sexism, can you not?
Yeah, exactly.
For that reason.
Yeah.
I know we're probably preaching to the choir, but
it's true.
But there are other racialized costumes that are also problematic. It's just that one it never goes away, and people like so. For example, earlier this year, someone actually a local company to Phoenix, I think it's Yandy or something, they made a costume that was a sexy Handmaid's Tale, and honestly, I actually thought it was really funny.
Yeah,
it did not offend me at all.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of a little bit evil. But like, anyway, so I was just laughing and I understood why people were upset, and it's fine. Like if you found it offensive, absolutely it's fine.
Yeah.
And they took it down. They stopped selling it.
Oh, wow.
But have they stopped selling the Pocahontas ones?
Yeah.
No. And so it was like just this, like, why is it only when it affects white women?
Right. Yeah, it's like, it's white feminism costume fix. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely white feminism. Interesting.
And I'm way more offended by the Pocahontas thing.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I'm a white woman.
Right.
Way more.
Well, we all should be.
I know we should be, but, you know. But, like, the Handmaid's Tale one, I just, like, I don't know. I don't know why it makes me laugh so much.
Well, because it's, like, it actually feels like great satire. Like...
Right! Or at least you could make it into satire. Like, there's a way to make it, like, actually kind of work.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with me. Like, it's totally fine. I get why people are upset.
Yeah.
But...
No. I think that's funny. Like, I wouldn't think it was funny if you're like, here's a sexy Planned Parenthood worker costume. Like, suddenly that feels...
is weird.
Weird. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not... I guess it would just look like a sexy nurse or something, right?
Yeah, I guess it goes back to that. It really does. Because what is it that it makes you a Planned Parenthood worker besides maybe like your name tag that maybe has Planned Parenthood on there? But yeah,
because I think you'd be wearing scrubs, right? Like most of them would be.
Yeah, you're a doctor, you're a nurse,
sexy
or you're
scrubs.
Yeah. Oh my god. I don't know. Halloween can be so much fun, so don't be an asshole about it.
Yeah, let's try to make it at least somewhat less fraught.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just enjoy yourself in a way that doesn't hurt other people, which is basically how you should try to live your life, in my opinion. Like,
exactly. But also, yes, Dia de los Muertos is not Halloween, Mexican Halloween, or like Latinx Halloween or whatever. Do not dress up as your interpretation of calaveras for Halloween because you think that I don't know. It's so complicated. It's so offensive. It's cool if you I don't know. I've seen people talking about it on Twitter, like, is it okay if we use, like, the skull makeup for Dia de los Muertos if we're not, like, Mexican or such and such? And it's like, if you're coming from a place of respect, right? But so many people aren't.
Yeah. And I think it does look worse on Halloween because then it just looks like you don't know what you're talking about. Whereas if you're doing it on the actual day of the dead,
right,
then... unless I have a reason not to give you the benefit of the doubt, I'll probably just give you the benefit of the doubt. I know it's not my place to, but...
Yeah, no. It's like... it's like, as long as you're not wearing a shirt that says lock her up at the same time, I'm probably like, okay.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
Can you imagine? Oh. I bet it does happen, though.
Somewhere that's happened at some time, surely. Not just in my imagination, in nightmares. So, next... we have some couple things coming up on the docket. We'll have a listener question episode. Mm-hmm. That'll be fun. We're going to record it in person together. Yay.
But unfortunately, by the time you hear this, we'll have already recorded it. So
yes. So.
But if you want to listen to an episode of us being interviewed by someone.
Oh, yeah.
Capetta did an episode with us.
The New Jersey guy.
The New Jersey guy. So if you... I'm still mad about the Central Jersey thing.
Yeah.
He apologizes for it on this episode.
Yes.
So we're on the most recent, or at least as of right now, the most recent episode of the Lulu Capetta show. So
yeah, and we
check that out.
Yeah. It's always fun to talk to Lou. Yeah. And, you know, in 2 weeks we'll be back at it with telling you not to be an asshole about something.
Yes. Yeah. And, you know, we're always looking for guests, so if you have a particular thing that you're interested in that you want to talk to us about, as long as it has linguistic discrimination element, hit us up. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, not all of the guests are people that we approach. Some people approached us, so please do.
Yes, absolutely. And if it makes sense, we'll definitely have you on.
Yeah, I'm always happy to learn from other people.
Yeah, me too. Because there's a lot of stuff that I don't actually know, or I only know very superficially.
Yeah.
So if you have the expertise,
please
let us know.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So don't be an asshole.
Still.
Just still
even
don't.
on Halloween.
Yeah.
Don't be an
especially
asshole.
on Halloween. I don't know.
Every day, but...
Yeah. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye.
I don't care if you're not my gal. I don't care if you're not my pal. I don't care if you're not my bud. I just want to drink your blood. I don't care if you have to be leaving.
The Vocal Fries podcast is produced by Chris Ayers for Halftone Audio. Theme music by Nick Granum. You can find us on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Vocal Fries Pod. You can email us at vocalfriespod@gmail.com.